Now, you know what? I'm not even going to tolerate this. I am actively opposed to this. I think it's bad. I don't want it in my community, and I don't want it in my country. We need to be intolerant. Intolerance is a virtue. Intolerance is good. Intolerance is holy. Intolerance is Christian. All right, well, there was apparently a debate yesterday for the mayor's race, and I didn't watch it, of course, but I did see one clip from this back and forth that I want to talk about. Here's Zohran Mamdani, who is the far-left radical Muslim socialist. And here he is hitting Cuomo on a particular point. Listen.
He had more than 10 years, and he couldn't name a single mosque at the last debate we had that he visited. And what Muslims want in this city is what every community wants and deserves. They want equality, and they want respect. And it took me to get you to even see those Muslims as part of this city. And that, frankly, is something that is shameful and is why so many New Yorkers have lost faith in this politics.
Yeah, except, that is totally false. I worked with the Muslim community for many years.
Name a single mosque you went to when you were the governor. Can you name a single mosque you went to in 10 years?
Before you were ever here. They were
before I was here.
Now, I'm not really interested in defending Andrew Cuomo. He's certainly more sane and less anti-American than Mamdani, but that bar is low. That bar is not even low. That bar is it's buried 100 feet under the ground. I mean, you could crawl on your stomach and get over that bar. So I'm not really interested in defending him, but I want you to think about this line of attack. He's attacking Cuomo for not visiting a mosque or being able to name a mosque. And this is really a significant moment in American politics. I don't think I'm making too much of it. This is the first time, to my knowledge, first time that any candidate for any office anywhere in the country has ever been criticized on the basis that they cannot name a mosque. Okay, this is the first time that "you can't name a mosque" has been used in an attack line against an American politician in America. This is a very new development. In New York, of all places. In New York, which, as we all know, the New York skyline was rearranged by jihadists. And there, "you haven't visited a mosque" is now an attack line. It is, I mean, if you could go back in time and tell people, if you go back to like 2002 and go to New York on the heels of 9/11 and tell them that in a couple of decades, there will be a far-left Muslim socialist from Uganda who is the favorite to become the mayor of the city. And not only that, but he's attacking his political opponents for not spending enough time in mosques. If you had told someone that, they wouldn't have believed you. They just would not have believed it. Now, I agree with Andrew Cuomo from Turning Point, who posted this clip, and he said, "The fact that Mamdani just attempted to shame Andrew Cuomo for not knowing the name of a mosque is exactly how this works. They immigrate, they set up shop, and then you work for them. Welcome to 2025, where mayoral candidates in America are expected to kiss the ring of Islam." Well, that's exactly it. I mean, these are the fruits of mass migration. This is the lie exposed. Assimilation was a lie. As a foreigner who was not born in this country, Zohran Mamdani is saying that Cuomo, but really all of us, have to assimilate to him. He's not going to assimilate to us. We have to assimilate to him. This is something that conservatives have gotten wrong. This is something that I've gotten wrong, or at least phrased it the wrong way. I mean, I've said many times, many of us have been saying that, oh, well, they don't believe in assimilation on the left. They talked about assimilation. They talked about the melting pot. That used to be a thing, but they don't really want assimilation. Well, they're actually wrong about that. They do want assimilation. It's just that they want assimilation going the other direction. They want us to assimilate to them. That's what they want. And you see, the same process is played out. And I was thinking about this today, and this is what people need to understand, that the same process is played out with immigration that played out with LGBT, trans, everything else. And we've been over this many times when it comes to the LGBT and trans and that sort of thing, gay marriage and all that. We've been over this trajectory, this progression, this evolution or devolution many times, but it applies here as well. So let's go over it again. Here's how it works, right? The left comes along with something they want to do, some agenda item, something bad always. And the first reaction from everybody usually is, well, that sounds terrible. Why would we want that? No, let's not do that. Oh, you want to destroy the institution of marriage? You want us to pretend that men are married when they're not? No, it's not. Oh, you want to castrate kids? You want men in the women's locker room? No, that's insane. We're not doing that. Oh, you want to flood our country with third worlders? No, like there's literally no benefit to us whatsoever. Why do we want to do that? And so that's usually people's first reaction. But then the left, they get to work and they demand tolerance. That's the first thing. They demand tolerance. They say, well, you might not like it, but you should put up with it. You should be tolerant. And then they demand affirmation after they get tolerance. And then they demand celebration. And then they demand participation. Okay, so it's tolerance, affirmation, celebration, participation. First tolerance, then affirmation, then celebration, then participation. This is always how it goes, every single time with everything. First, they said, with LGBT, they said, tolerate our lifestyle. You don't have to like it, you don't have to agree with it, but put up with it, allow it. What two men do in their own homes is none of your business, right? What people do in their own, none of your business. If a man wants to put on a dress and walk around, none of your business, just tolerate it. And then they convinced a lot of people. Because that first ask for a lot of people, especially just normal, polite people that just kind of want to get along and don't want things to get contentious, don't want to be confrontational. For a lot of people, that first ask seems kind of reasonable. And they say, okay, fine. It doesn't affect me. I'll tolerate it. And so people did. But then they went back and they said, well, actually, no, we need you to actively affirm this. To just tolerate, see, that's not good enough. Because when you tolerate, right, when you just tolerate it, you're still kind of implying that you disagree with it. And that hurts our feelings. You can't disagree with it. You need to affirm it. You need to tell us that what we're doing is good. And so a lot of people did. And they came back and said, no, actually, what we need you to do is we need you to stand on the street corner and applaud as we march by in our parade. We need you to applaud us. We need you to actively, it's not enough to tolerate, not enough to just affirm. You need to actively celebrate. We need holidays. You need to set aside entire days and months on the calendar to tell us how great we are. And many people went along with that. And then finally we get to the last step where they said, you know what? Tolerating, affirming, celebrating, all that is fine, not good enough. We need you to participate. We need you to actively be involved in what we're doing. You see how so quickly we went from, it doesn't affect you, doesn't involve you, just put up with it, to, you know what, actually it does involve you, and you need to be an eager participant in what we're doing. And so with LGBT, it was, say the pronouns, invite us into your bathrooms, so on and so on and so on. Tolerance, affirmation, celebration, participation. That's how it always goes. Tolerance, affirmation, celebration, participation. And this is why we must cut them off at the pass. This is why we must shut them down at the tolerance phase. This is why I'm such a mean guy. This is why I upset a lot of people all the time. I always have, because I'm so mean. Because I don't even want to do the tolerance part. But this is why. Because I know where it leads. I know where it goes. Before we get all the way to participation, we should say no. Now, you know what? I'm not even going to tolerate this. I am actively opposed to this. I think it's bad. I don't want it in my community, and I don't want it in my country. We need to be intolerant. Intolerance is a virtue. Intolerance is good. Intolerance is holy. Intolerance is Christian. Intolerance is moral and courageous. Intolerance is biblical. Intolerance is loving. Loving to your family, to your country, to your way of life that you should be protecting. And so we've seen something similar happen with mass migration. It's been happening for decades. And now we have finally arrived at the participation phase. Here we are. It's finally happened. We passed the tolerance phase a long time ago. Tolerance is when they said, hey, you might not like third worlders infiltrating your country en masse. You might not like it, but you should put up with it. You should tolerate it because, look, these people have had a hard life and things are pretty bad in their home countries, and It's good for them to come here. May not be good for you. There's no possible argument we can make that it's somehow good for you to import, 100,000 Somalis just to start with. We can't make that. Like, obviously, it's not good for, it benefits you not at all, but you should put up with it. And then they said, well, actually, we need you to affirm this as a positive good, as a wonderful thing. And then they said, you know what? Actually, we need you to celebrate it. We need you to celebrate it. Not just affirm, but celebrate it. Celebrate multiculturalism. Go around claiming diversity is our strength. We've been at that stage for a while, and now here we are. Here we are at the participation phase at long last. Now they're saying, actually, we need you to participate in our foreign culture that we're bringing into this country. We need you to actually show up at the mosque and pay your respects. That's where we are. We didn't shut them down at tolerance, and now we're at participation, and this is how it always goes and how it always will go until we learn. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.